We have a trader that in just 4 days lost 80% of his money, or around $80,000. Someone went from 220k all the way down to 28k in just a month. And we have a trader who is up by 600% in the past month. But we're starting off with an insane loss by Jellyfish Vegetable. He's asking if anyone is hiring. He has a degree in architectural drafting. And as we can see, he's down by 99.64%, or $49,633.29 in total, and is left with just $180.82. His all-time chart is slowly going down with two huge exceptions, and I think you can guess in which stock he made these two huge gains. Obviously it's GameStop. At that point his account rose to $225,000, but sadly he didn't take profits and kept on losing, and now he has almost $181. And all he got left is some YOLO puts and calls. By the time he got disciplined, the capital got low. Bruh, you were 3x, 4x overnight and lost it all. OnlyFans, since he enjoys being so much. But besides that, I really like the fact that a lot of people in the comments offered him jobs. Anyway, next up we have another trader who failed to secure profits. Trader by the name of 71CK5 just realized that greed is a crazy thing. On the monthly chart we can see that his account value rapidly increased, and at the peak he was up by 236%, or $154,152.91. So his account was worth around 220k, but then it started sharply falling. In the past week he's down by 77%, or $97,654.07, and is left with around $28,997.48. 12k out of that 100k he lost just today, and he made and lost so much money because on August the 24th and 25th he bought a lot of put options on VNQ, which is a Vanguard real estate index fund ETF. Options had a striking price at $90, $91, $92, $94 and $95, and all of them had an expiration date on September the 16th. And from the day he bought those puts, the ETF kept on falling until September the 2nd. That is when he ideally should have sold, because after that the ETF began to rise and he ended up selling them on September the 8th. That's not greed, that's just being. If doubling your money isn't enough for you, nothing ever will be. Was waiting for 10x. After a certain point, greed crosses the line into stupidity. And if you're not already subscribed, it would mean a ton to me if you just press that button. It's free and it will help me out a lot at reaching my goal of 200 subscribers. Thank you. Next, we have one of the biggest gains I have seen in recent times. Trader by the name of NeuroDrink is just in the past year up by 0.02%, or $11.13. And at the very least his chart looks absolutely amazing. It starts off by violently dropping, then it looks like it could recover, but unfortunately falls even lower. And with just a little capital left, we can see these small bumps for the majority of the year. But then it looks like he found the trade. His account firstly drops a little, but he keeps on holding and his account literally skyrockets to break even. An amazing redemption. Now I'm not 100% sure, but looking at the previous posts, he made so much money because on August the 31st he bought 75 put options on Nvidia with a striking price at $145 and an expiration date on September the 2nd. And looking at the stock chart, it looks like it dropped by around 10% in that time frame, so those puts should have printed. Now that he's richer than most of WallStreetBets, he hopefully won't lose it all in the next couple of trades. Anyway, next up we have yet another insane loss by Nitrous Express. BBBY life saving squeeze or bust at this point. Tuck me out of rope please. I rolled out what I had left. Bank account empty. As we can see, in a span of 4 days he lost 80% of his money, or $77,148.96, and is left with just $18,709.83. And he has $5 of buying power, meaning that 18k he has left is already invested, and that that message makes this even funnier. You have a pattern day trading restriction on your account. So he currently owns a lot of call options on Bed Bath & Beyond, with striking prices at $40, $45, $60 and $80, and expiration dates on October the 21st and January the 20th of 2023. But you might wonder how he got to this point. Well, he was skeptical about the news, so the whole time he traded safely and wasn't balls deep in calls. The day of the before news he was all in shares, but sold half of his for weekly calls. He wanted to make 3 more thousand and sell at 100k and be done. Instead, he got caught and kept averaging down to play the news. Next thing he knew, he was all in calls and down too much. He could have cut his losses but got stubborn. He figured most of the bleeding took place the day before the news, but he didn't expect that steep of a drop. Just sucks because he played his cards good and then took a huge risk for nothing at the end. Learn from his mistakes to never revenge trade to make back a few K. It's not worth it. He could have stopped the bleeding at around 88k and traded it back another day. Everything happens for a reason. Sometimes that reason is your This, ladies and gentlemen, is a gambling addiction. But what I want to know is how so many people on WallStreetBets have more than 100k just to gamble it away. Anyway, next up we finally have a huge gain. Trader by the name of Judgmentally8 had a pretty solid month, as he's up by almost 600% or $28,402.52 just in the past month. Looking at the chart, we can see that he started off slow and then just exponentially grew his account. He sold his AMC shares on the 16th of August for just over $24 per share, received his dividend on the 23rd and sold his APE on the run-up about $8. He knew the dilution was coming from logic and well, the SEC filings. Unlike most, he's actually taking profits. You see what happens when you for a change take profits? Anyway, right now he's learning 0 days till expiry options trading for the SPY and trying to figure out if day trading them is more beneficial than leap calls. So either he's losing all of these profits or becoming a millionaire. He'll post losses or gains when it happens. Well, there are two weird things about his story. Firstly, he's saying that he turned 5k to 33k in a month by playing dividends. A lot of people called him out on this and in response he posted his deposits, but he didn't post his gains, so when and how much of a certain stock he bought. But luckily I was able to find a bit more detailed explanation in the comments. So AMC was at $24, but the CEO dumped 600 million preferred shares as a dividend, which halved the price of AMC. So he sold AMC at 24 once he qualified for APE, then sold APE once he got it. He also played puts on AMC in his options account because he knew the stock was being diluted. Okay, that actually makes sense. And secondly, I don't like his plans for the future, because based on the majority he will end up losing all of the gains. Actually, never mind, he decided that he definitely won't be YOLOing into 0 days till expiry. He's doing a ton of research and will only be doing the odd contract worth $200. 25k is already going into an index fund, 4k being transferred to options account for learning and 3k to his bank account. Okay, that's much better. Anyway, next up we have a huge loss by Awesome Dan 24. In the past year he's down by 50% or $85,512.08 and is left with around 82k. So the chart starts in September 2021. He started the year around 84k and got up to a high of nearly 150k end of June for a 70% gain before going back to where he started. And he got there because he bought into 2x leveraged volatility ETF, which worked well for him in the first half of this year until the bear market rally that exploded in July. He just got out in anticipation of further upside ahead with CPI coming up. He intends to ride the next wave up and then try to get out near the top, maybe around SPY 430 to 440, then go back to bear place. Well, even though that was a huge loss, he isn't taking it too seriously. He had roped thoughts over the years, but the way he sees it, he wasn't about to retire on 200k. So nothing really changes when it becomes 80k hey, it's a work in progress. Maybe it'll take me a few more years to develop a strategy that works consistently for me. Plenty businesses lose money for years before they become profitable. Even if it goes to zero, I have a good job, wife and a house, and I can always start over. I'm only in my 20s and I've got plenty of time. So even if I end up worse off than someone who just parks their money in SPY for 40 years, I can at least say I tried. Well, even though he says it wouldn't bother him if it goes to zero, I hope he succeeds and finds a strategy that works for him. And last but not least, we have an insane loss by Foreign Reality 1040, who wants to pay me for my exclusive stock tips so you can do the inverse. As we can see, he's down by 99.95% or $25,278.76, and is left with just $13.48. And honestly, this chart is something truly marvelous. Besides one little spike at the beginning of his journey, his account went almost straight down. There isn't a single point on this graph where you could think that maybe, just maybe, it's going to go back up. And what is his next play? Puts on SPY with a striking price at $400 and an expiration date on September the 12th. Well, good luck to him and to all of you. If you want to see how this trader lost more than $500,000 in just a couple of days, click on the video that just popped up. And if that is not enough, smash that subscribe button, as you'll help me out a lot in reaching my goal of 200 subscribers. If you have any questions or recommendations, leave them in the comments down below, and thanks for watching.